Hello there my friends, it's about 6:30 a.m. on a beautiful Sunday morning here at the Trevor Basin, and as something a little bit different, I'm going to do a proper walking and talking vlog as I head down towards the currently closed the aqueduct and then up the canal. I'm anticipating I might get more than a little bit wet, but before we head off down that direction, let's just go up these steps and have a nose at what we're looking at here. Just before we head off down in that direction and properly get stuck into this video, I wanted to just acknowledge there might be some people anticipating that there should be a live stream going on, as this video originally releases as a 9 PM Sunday premiere video. I should be active in the live chat and responding to comments, but the reason there's no live stream today and there's this very odd video is because it is not only Mother's Day today but also my Nan's birthday, so happy birthday Nan. Anyway, as you can see, I really am not anticipating that I'm going to be getting out of this walk in any sensible dry or even remotely warm sort of situation, so let's head back down these steps and see what wonders await us down a potentially very muddy section of canal. Oh, right. So the first thing of note, I've done everything in my power to make myself as comfortable as possible here, and that's basically forget to put a pair of gloves on, but I have tucked my trousers into my socks. So we'll just stop and have a quick nose at the the aqueduct itself. However, oh look, there's my boat. I wish it was my boat, in fact. We'll just stop and have a look through the barrier here at the wonderful but currently closed aqueduct. You can see just to the side, got the dry dock here, and this section they can also pump the water out of. My goodness me. And it is, just for interest's sake, straight down there that we are going to be walking in a very brief moment. But what we're actually going to do is walk down there beneath the aqueduct and up the other side. First things first, we can't possibly be doing a bizarre hybrid vlog, fake live stream style walking video without having a proper look through the railings here. And you can see now, of course, a lot of unpleasant stuff has washed up here, but there you go, there's your wooden stop planks. And then, well, you know what, I think the weather and this rain is actually filling it back up again, whether they want it to or not. Something absolutely awesome about the way it is disappearing off into the mist there. So yeah, you can see, so we walk up to the edge of the steps here. It's a pretty steep drop off, which is why the stairs take that wonderful winding zigzag path. And of course we get to what's, well, if this weather continues, going to be a very swollen and very formidable River Dee. Right then, I'm just going to clear my throat as I've been desperately holding on to not cough on stream, but I'm not quite going to manage that, so I'll try and take a picture or two of the wonderful aqueduct while I'm here. Right my friends, I've composed myself and I'm back with you, and I've got to say that when it comes to atmospheric starts to the day, this is fantastic regardless of the weather. I do feel that as we go beneath the aqueduct here, in some ways it makes it feel a lot bigger. We've got the power of the super torch, so I can try and highlight some of the details and the massive bolts that you might be able to see, all those big square bits. So not only does it feel more massive, but it also almost feels a little more precarious and narrow. There's the other side. Again, of course, this side, the water side, famous for not having the railings. Just trying to avoid poking the camera too much towards that house that's right next to us. And here we are, as if by magic, we've got ourselves a a little path. It's going to fetch us up onto what is an incredibly steep road, and I refuse to walk down it just to show you how steep it is, because I'll have to walk back up. But you know what, no, this isn't doing it justice for how steep it really is. But you get the general gist. It's higher on this side than it is the other side. So this is a first really, I think, when it comes to this kind of video, of just doing an actual on camera walk and talk over a prolonged period of time. I think I've already been wittering at you for probably 6 or 7 minutes. Private driveway. It's a nice little area, this. Just literally alongside the canal, as you can see. Here we are on that little bridge that we were just looking at. Right, without further ado, my friends, let's vanish off down there. Okay then, my friends, we're about 200 feet up from the bridge that is almost the entrance to the basin area up there. If we have a look what we've got here, you may notice it's a bit of a meeting of the new and the old. So this is Bridge 32W. As you can see, a very modern, certainly compared to a lot of the bridges surrounding it, very modern footbridge here. But on one side we've got the very old cobblestone surface leading down to the towpath, and on this side we've got like the absolutely enormous, proper, hyper accessible bridge, ramp even. Man, you can tell it's early and I've had such little sleep. So again, just look at that. And I can tell you one thing, that even with my boots on, those get pretty slippy. And then looking back across, you can see just how steep the far side actually is. Of course, this is nothing compared to the extraordinary, very high and very steep banks that the canal is about to skirt along, as it really is in the, I'd say, for about the previous mile before we would have come upstream to meet the Pontcysyllte aqueduct that we just passed. We would have been skirting along the far side of the valley from us, and of course it crosses over at Pontcysyllte, and now it's got miles and miles where it's skirting along. And again, even here you can see how much the side is dropping off away down the hill. I'm just going to stop recording as I pass these boats because it is very early, so just give me a moment. Bridge 33W. Now this is one that may be familiar if you've watched my previous videos. It's a absolutely beautiful little bridge, this. Incredibly narrow. In fact, talking about the slippy smooth cobblestones at the previous bridge, I mean, look at this one. Firstly, you've got to assume that that shape is worn away by goodness knows how many years worth of footsteps. But if we just come up here, purely just to illustrate how narrow the place is, well, let's put it this way. This is definitely not a modern day hyper accessible bridge. Oh man, look at that towpath. This is the trouble with some of these little sections that are beneath the trees like this, and it puts me in mind of the little section between Chirk Tunnel and Chirk Marina as well, to a certain extent. You can often find the tree cover, beautiful as it may be when it's all nice and filled out and green, it does stop a lot of the wetter sections ever fully drying out, and it's certainly possible to come up here long after there's actually been any rainfall. I'll have to go on this side bit, and this, believe me, starts to turn into proper slippy mud very, very quickly. But yeah, you can come to a part like this that there might not have been rain for a week and find that the water and moisture is so embedded in the topography, I'll say, whether that's the right word or not, who knows. And well, the rain and the water will just keep this perpetual bit of mud that the shadow and cover of the trees refuses to ever let fully dry up. So something that would catch me out by Chirk Tunnel if I was riding my bike, because I do, say, a 10-mile cycling commute all the way to where I worked in Oswestry, not have a single bit of moisture on a beautiful sunny day, then get to the back of Chirk Tunnel and suddenly find that by the time I've done the next mile or so up to where I was moored opposite Chirk Marina, I'd flicked up mud and grime and goodness knows what else all over the back of my backpack and my clothes. Yeah, good times. See what I mean about the muddy nature of this ground here. And speaking of topography, as I've said in a previous video, oh, look at this, look at that, we've actually got hoof prints down here. Fantastic. I love the idea of there being horses coming up and down here, and again sort of that incredible, almost a throwback, as if you'd stepped back in time to seeing the working boats coming up and down. But yeah, speaking of the general surroundings, and as I've said in the previous video about the exceptional nature of the engineering that went into this little section of canal between the aqueduct and Llangollen itself, you can see just how steep the drop off that the canal's skirting around almost constantly in this region. And also, look at this. This is all, every bit of greenery you see in there, apart from of course the ivy on the trees, is wild garlic. So, as with a lot of places in this area, you find these little patches of woodland. The wild garlic completely takes over the floor space of those patches, and I don't think I can smell garlic in the air right now, but come here in only a few weeks' time. We're in March now, April's very soon to be upon us, and you will find an overwhelming scent of garlic permeating the air here. Equally, if you go round Chirk Castle, you'll see loads of it just on the hillside that drops down towards the road. Look at that, we've got a solitary little ducky there. Oh, you know what? Sunrise was sometime around 6:30 this morning. So if it had been a clear day, or even just a slightly more reasonable bit of weather, we would have been in the Trevor Basin with the wonderful boats all moored up around us and seeing the gleam of the rising sun and the pastel colours of a sunrise reflecting off everything. Instead, unfortunately, you've got me getting wet feet in conditions that I believe are still too dark for the camera to really kick in with its full 4K quality. I imagine there's a chance you're seeing some grainy footage, unfortunately. Look at this though. And this canal here, I don't know if it looks it to you or not on screen, but this is a relatively narrow bit of canal, certainly for this area. And again, I'm going to say it, but between the aqueduct and Llangollen, the wonderful engineering and all, goodness me, there's plenty of bird activity because of the time that we're out here. But yeah, wonderful engineering and everything. This section here is actually extremely wide in comparison to how narrow it is going to get in some places. However, those are a few miles upstream from us, and so I am, given the conditions, refusing. I'm on strike. I refuse to walk all of that way to show you on this particular morning. However, I will take you up there for a little look at the narrow sections in the very near future. Oh, the garlic here has actually risen up and crested the hillside here, and you know what? It really does already smell very strongly of garlic at this point. So perhaps I did smell a hint of it on the air down there. Again, we're finding that there's now sections of mud wider than the towpath itself next to the towpath, as people, because of the extremely bad weather, hoof prints are still continuing, because of the extremely bad weather for so long, obviously people have had to keep walking further and further and further around the chaos of the towpath being so muddy and wet. And you know what? I hate to say this, the weather now feels like it's actually getting worse. And you might notice we're actually walking into the mist. So the view, rather than opening up and clearing up as we've gone along, could well be about to close in even further around us. Oh my goodness me. Well, I'm not entirely sure what to make of the filming that I've done so far, if I'm honest. I was originally thinking that I was going to be walking and talking facing the camera as I went. However, because the rain has been so bad, I thought, well, knowing my luck, I'll get a massive raindrop on the screen. Again, endless puddles here. I'll probably get a massive raindrop on the camera lens, sorry, not the screen, which will then completely obscure me or make this video seem even more rubbish and ridiculous than it actually is turning out to be. And I'll have just ended up talking as an amorphous blob on the screen. Some people might say that that's what I do anyway. So yeah, my apologies if anybody was hoping to tune in as this video goes live as a premiere video. If they were hoping to see me doing one of my weird cooking live streams, unfortunately, like I say, not only is it Mother's Day, but it is my nan's birthday. So I suppose I don't mean to say it's unfortunate that it's those things. It's unfortunate that there's no live stream, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, Nan. Well, I cannot believe this, my friends. I feel almost like this mist and the greyness has come here to spite us. Again, just while we're here, I want to show you again. Lovely, nice little section of canal. Towpath, I don't know, a few feet wide. And then straight from that you can see just how much the bank drops off so steeply. And you can actually see that little shock of grey there. That, my friends, oh, I've zoomed out too far. I always forget I can do that. And did you see that when it started to pop into the wide angle lens there, it actually had water on the lens, exactly what I had feared would happen, and I wouldn't realise because I'd have been talking directly, looking at the camera lenses for, I don't know, half an hour, only to finish recording and find that it was all, again, depending on your opinion, either vastly improved footage because you couldn't see me, or vastly destroyed footage because you couldn't see me. Anyway, in all seriousness, let's get on here. So basically what this video has ultimately turned into, unfortunately, is a really rubbish version of my podcast series. And yes, I really do have a little podcast series where I just walk and talk for the majority of the time. Sometimes I record in the emergency bedroom recording studio if I need to. And I just talk about boat life and memories and walk along places like this and describe it to you. It's really, I try and make it as an ASMR and a relaxing style of video, audio experience rather. Oh, we've got another boat ahead of us here, so I think I will stop shouting as I'm going. That's my other issue here. I don't know when I get back whether this footage is going to be any good whatsoever, or whether the excessive rain that I had at the beginning of this recording has interfered and interrupted my electronics, because I've got the microphone strapped to me and then the receiver plugged into the phone itself. Right then, let's resume this in just a moment. Well, my friends, what have I been saying about the weather since about September? Since the end of last summer in 2023, we have had some of the most consistent bad wet weather that I've ever known in my life. And here we are now in March, all this time later, and it's still happening. Yeah, we've unfortunately really been let down by the weather. I can't believe I literally set a 5:30 a.m. alarm to get up and get out to the canal and record this morning, when I've barely been sleeping recently anyway. And well, that's just life, isn't it? Goodness me. So yeah, I'm going to stop talking to you now, because not only are my hands extremely cold and having trouble really gripping on here, but because everything's basically saturated, I'm actually finding my hands are slipping in the moisture on the giant selfie stick handle. And of course, because it's a much bigger selfie stick than usual, that leverage of my phone being all of that distance away is really, really straining. Perhaps I shouldn't have extended it fully, my friends. Again, yeah, live and learn. So for anybody interested, it's 7:15. I've been walking for 54 minutes, and I've only done 1.5 miles in that time because of all of the careful, steady camera holding and so on. And just look at this, my goodness me. This really is. I mean, this is a great towpath surface in the dry weather. This is a fantastic surface, don't get me wrong. But you can see, because obviously it's nigh on impossible to create a flat path that's going to be trodden by thousands and thousands of people a year. Oh, look at it. Oh, it's certainly got its very minor dips, which once you get the weather like this so consistently and the water table so high, not really much you can do to stop it. So yeah, I should have fetched a jet ski with me, I think. There is something interesting just while we're here. So, Bridge 34W. Just look at that. That actually looks like it's stuck. Oh, wrong camera. That actually looks like it is stuck on there. D and G. Yeah, it's like a metal plaque. That's, I wonder, interesting. Just a little lovers sort of thing, or is it maybe a potential memorial of some kind? You do actually see in some places, notably I believe, I never actually got to the bottom of exactly what it was, but it's what I believe may be a pet of some description buried down on the Prees branch by Wixall Marina. That is Prees branch. Oh look, a buzzard just flying off. Oh, where's he gone? If I hadn't have been spelling Prees branch out loud, we could have had a great moment on camera then. If I was, mind you, after all but being awake for 24 hours at this point, my eyes are already shot for the day, if I'm honest. I'm going to have to get my stronger glasses on. So I think I would have struggled to see the camouflage of a buzzard hidden amongst the, and I'm not trying to be depressing when I say this, the lifeless, brown, dead, pre-spring world that we're in. Some people would have just said winter instead of pre-spring, but, well, I'm not some people. I'm not even most people. Look, there we go. Zoom in on that. Oh. Wonderful stuff. Now, of course, if I do super zoom out, because of all those trees between us and the buzzard, it may actually have been a horrendously fast panning shot there. So I do apologise if that was a horrible moment for you to all view and look at. Oh, look at this. Again, I was hoping, given that I've just put my old shoes on for this rather than my proper big boots, and you can see I got an absolutely giant hole opened up. So you just imagine now, not only are my feet wet because of how wet the towpath is, but my one foot is wet because of the literal 1-inch gash that's opened up in the side of it, that's comfortably been going beneath the water level in these puddles. Again, I'm going to say it's a laugh and convince myself that I'm having fun here. Oh dear. Oh, we've got some sheepy onlookers here. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can get a clear shot across. Hello there, my friend. I'm Dan Brown from Sort of Interesting. Oh, look at that. Now, when I think earlier I said that I was concerned about how soaking wet my own fleecy jacket was getting, I think our friend over there, well, he's got a little bit more right to complain than I do. Let's keep zooming out a little bit further. You know what, my friends? I think, given that, yeah, as you saw, I've walked 1.5 miles already, which means by definition, if I go straight back, that's a 1.5 miles back, and a 3 mile 6:30 a.m. Well, in fact, actually, said I'd been walking about 54 minutes, didn't it? So I've actually been walking since earlier than 6:30. I don't particularly, I'm afraid, want to continue with this, either the video or the walk in general. Yeah, I think I'll just start walking back here and slowly signing off. So, in an ideal world, I'll have another attempt at this type of video, of doing a prolonged single shot walk and talk clip. Obviously editing out if I'm walking directly towards people coming towards me on an enclosed path like this, where obviously I don't want to randomly go and push the camera in people's faces and spread them about the internet. But yeah, I feel that making it as almost a video version of my audio series, which is called The Sort of Interesting Show, by the way, links in the description, there may potentially be some interesting things that come of that, even if it's just a case of me walking and talking for half an hour and then cutting out most of the walking, most of the talking, and just using random little clips to help bring the story to life of whatever happened on this section of canal in years gone by, or things like that. Anyway, if you've made it this far, then congratulations, fella. Did you look at that? Actually got somebody, that's our first sign of actual awake humanity today. Although, no, we didn't see anybody in the basin even, did we? Anyway, please check the links in the description. You'll find the Patreon, you'll find the podcasts, you'll find the links to me all over the internet. I'm incredibly active on things like Facebook, posting short form video as well as photographs and general little posts here and there. So hopefully you'll find those interesting. Here's something of some curiosity for you. If I zoom in, obviously it's incredibly misty over there, but you can actually see in the murk there is the wonderful aqueduct. Again, get ready, super zoom out. Whoosh, there we go. So yeah, as I get ready to dance across, again, it doesn't even look like it's a wet towpath here because it is just so consistently wet for so far. It just looks like a grey ground. Thank you very much for joining me for this disaster, my friends. I hope to see you around very soon in better weather with a better video, and hopefully next weekend for one of my ridiculous cookery live streams. See ya!